What does pool have to do with gunfighting? When you play pool, a lot of this is angles. I don't hit the ball straight on, I get a partial hit on it from an angle. Gunfighting is a lot of angles. Understanding angles, line of sight, and how you can expose where it's only a little bit of the cue ball, hit the ball I sink, you can expose a little bit yourself and land good quality hits. Let's go out to the range and I'll show you how this works in real life. So, how does the billiards table angles work in the real world for gunfighting? Gunfighters have to worry about three things that really work around, and these are the three things where human beings are going to be. So that's going to dictate your angles, what they build, what they transport in. Cars is the important one. What's in the parking lot? What are you driving every day? What's all around our cars? What are the angles on them? The next thing is right angles. Everything's going to be built out of right angles. Unless it's an Eskimo's igloo or a Mongolian yurt, it's right angles. Learning how right angles work and how to work them is solidly important for any buildings. Again, buildings are where people are. If you're fighting people, you'll fight them around buildings most likely, or cars. Or pillars. You think pillars, you get the others, but where are pillars in my life? I don't walk past a pillar every day. Do you go to a parking garage? Pillars. Street posts, pillars. The big box store or a large building that got hold-up supports moving around, it's the pillar. If you learn those three things, there's lots of more complicated things, but we're just going over the basics here. That's what you work over. So how do you work these angles? First, don't hug the cover. We get those barricade drills where we're up on this and everything. One, as I move up to this, I don't know what's around it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk, and I'm going to clear it a little bit here. Room clearing is a whole other thing, but we work on angles here first. And I'm just going to expose to my target the minimal amount of me. I'm going to get my feet tight, lean my body out slightly. I've got a good position here with my weight down so I can lean out and still being stable. And I just wanted to see my right eye, my barrel, and a little bit of my shoulder and hand. That's all the target I give them. Realistically, when you shoot this, the hits on the target should probably be on one side. If your shots are all over the target, tighten up your thing. You're showing too much of yourself to the target if they were shooting back at you. Next thing when I do this and going back, not being too close. Also, barrels. See, my sights can see the target right now, but I'm going to shoot the my corner right here otherwise. With long guns, this is even more so. Oh, I can see my target just fine. I can put hits on them. No, I can shoot up what happens here and do a spectacular mistake. You got to expose a little bit more with that long gun because that offset between height over barrel here of your sight. Now, that works really great on the right-hand side. Left-hand side, the old school thing is I switch to my left hand. Train Grog, the caveman here, I got to learn how to wrap my hand around otherwise and do a complete mirror. Use my left eye and go around the corner there and take my shot. Well, learning ambi will improve your primary better. Your right-handed shoot, if you're right-eyed and right-eye dominant like me, the more I do left-hand shooting and left-hand otherwise, it's how your brain is wired. You'll actually get a little bit better left-hand shooting. But it is still harder no matter how it is. You're right-handed and right-eye dominant for a reason, or left-eye cross-dominant, whatever you got it going on. There's another way to do this here. Take my right hand, and I just put it in front of my left eye and tuck my elbow down. We'll show remote pictures of what these two different versions look like. And then the great thing about this is once I've cleared that corner, I can walk around and I just switch to my right eye. I don't have to switch my gun back and forth and do silly transitions all the time. Now, how to do this with long guns. We'll work the pillar here, and I'll tell you the reason why in just a minute. So, I can be really tight here again where I'm leaning against it. I feel more stable for my shot, and I'm ready to do this. And I've got a good shot there. Problem is, somebody's working the other side of this. Right here you see me. I close on the target, or right here. somebody on that pillar, other side of that pillar hugging the cover isn't going to see me, I'm going to walk around while they're still looking around that corner, pop them and kill them. It's a sad example, but if you look back at the Black Lives Matter that turned into that mass shooting against police back in Dallas of July of 2016, you'll see an officer hiding behind a pillar, nice and tight, while he's taking fire from the bad guy. Bad guy works right around on him when he's hugging that cover and kills him. I don't blame the officer for doing that. He was in the fight, heroically fighting. The guy who trained him, maybe a little bit of blame there. So how do you do this? I'm going to be back a little bit from it, so I've got that maneuver room. Somebody comes around, I can get him right there. Work around my cover. Also, bullet deflection. If the bullet hits right here in the cover here, it's going to deflect off at an angle like this. Get about 6 feet back, a lot of concrete, brick, steel, those things. And if you're doing minimal exposure here, that bullet's going to skip on by. 6 to 8 feet is probably your sweet spot. I get too closer, that bullet's going to skip on into me. Unfun. Now, how do I work on the right, on the left-hand side here? Now, the designer of this sling's got a more complicated version of it. I'm not using that. This is something I learned from the Russians from training with Center T several years ago through the AK Operators Union. Just put it in the center here. There's 2 ways I can do this. I put it up generally in my regular way, and then I just switch it over to here. This could be a transition for a full switch, or I can have it right here, and like that trick with the pistol, I use my good right hand, and what's familiar to me, I'm just using my left eye. This works really well with red dots. I get just around exposed, and I can take that shot. I'm not exposing my whole body here, just a little bit. Again, we'll show a remote camera and you'll see all this. The last thing I can do is I can do the full up switch to my left-hand side and do it. It's also why I have a complete ambi gun, is why I can do this left-hand switch, and I just a little bit of exposure there to shoot. Now, once I get around the corner here, I gotta switch on back really quick and do everything else and move around. Now, if I'm using the halfway method that I learned off the Russians, I can do, get this right here, like this. I've got it like this slightly. Take my shot, corner's clear. Just like that, I'm around the corner and I can move otherwise to my next piece of cover and work my next angle. It's really fast. With handgun, it's even faster. My right eye, left eye. Right eye, round corner, left eye. I'll show this again with the remote camera. Okay, so we're doing remote camera here. Well, you'll see right-handed long gun and right-handed pistol. So I got the long gun coming up. Just a little bit, and I can see the target just fine. And you see a little bit of exposure of me. Handgun, right hand, right eye. Just the smallest amount of me. See the target? I'll switch to left. Now I'm going to do right hand, right eye with a long gun. You can see I'm exposing a good chunk of my body to see the target. There, I've got to lean out all uncomfortable to do it. Now, I'm going to do right hand on the long gun, but on my left shoulder, I'm using my left eye. A lot less of me. Then I'm going to switch over left hand, left eye on long gun. There, put rounds on target that way. Now, real quick, I'm going to show how fast you can do that transition coming around a corner here. We'll put the gun on my right shoulder, right hand, left eye. I'm putting the long gun on my left shoulder, then I'll come around the corner. Once I clear it, and just transition back to my right shoulder and move forward. Okay, now we'll go back real quick. Handgun. Handgun on corner. Angle here. A good 6 to 8 feet back. And there's my right hand, right eye. Again, how much of my body exposed. Now I'm going to switch to right hand, left eye. Just a little amount of exposure there. And lastly, left hand, left eye. There, again, minimal amount of exposure, what you can see of me. We'll next go on to the car and show the angles there. Okay, now we've moved on to cars. Again, where people are is where cars are, so that's why I have to learn to fight around it. Fighting in cars is a completely separate thing, and this is just a real quick thing on the angles. First thing is height over bore here. We talked about that before. I can see my target right well, my barrel's right into the car here. I have to lift up a little bit to be able to get a shooting angle on that. But this is not the great place to be. All I've got is a little bit of automotive glass in between otherwise. These pillars, the support pillars along the way, are pretty good cover. That allows you to, they'll stop most bullets. You think, oh, I don't think they will, just automotive material. These things are built to withstand this, take the stress of this vehicle flipping over, holding it up, so the roof doesn't collapse. It'll stop a bullet. But we'll do on the left-hand corner of the car here first. And get down, working around. I don't have a straight right angle, you can see the camera. So I gotta slowly work. Look at how the high corners on your knees. There. See what you can see otherwise there. And otherwise, working all around the car. Over the hood. Now, working out, get the target there. I'm gonna work out slightly here, and I gotta look down to make sure I'm not getting that automotive glass. Now I'm hugging the cover again here. I could have things bounce off this hood, but to my left-hand side here, I've got those pillars that can take the support, and that glass is going to cause bullet deflections for the first few rounds. It should be away from me. I also can move back here, away from the car a little bit, so I'm not going to get that bullet deflection as much doing the old Slav squat. I got to make sure this is actually pretty stable with my knees supporting my elbows. I just got to make sure I don't skip it into that hood there, so I have to rise up a little bit. But that gives you some real basic ideas of cars. Pillars and right-hand corners. This is not meant to be an all-encompassing course or replace instruction. Give you some ideas of thinking. As you walk around a parking lot, see what angles you may have cars if you have to get in a fight. Go in that parking garage or that big box store with pillars. You might work that pillar in a fight. Don't pull out your gun or anything, just think it through. Right-hand corners of the buildings you're in and your house. Little known fact, 100% of home invasions happen in the home. If you're worried about that, you can prepare that battlefield in yourself, most important way, mentally. Unload your gun, take the bolt out, whatever. Walk around and work all your corners. See how you'd fight your own house. I'm not saying you'll learn the whole thing in there. Learning to fight inside a building is really best a team sport. Even individual, it's hard, and it takes days to get a good hang on it, weeks of really practicing to get mastery of it. But you can explore these angles of everything around you to learn how to work angles better. And again, how that pool shark will know angles on a billiards table, a gunfighter will know angles around cars, right-hand corners, pillars. Learn those angles. If you like what you saw here, you can come train with me, get some professional instruction. I'm based out of the Pacific Northwest, or find a trainer closer to you. The best advice I can give you is get professional instruction. You don't know what you don't know. This is just a sampler. There's a whole lot more to it. Learn how to really work angles. If you carry a gun or have it for self-defense, you don't know angles, you don't know gunfighting yet. Thank you for your time and consideration. Good day.